So storyline.
What do you call it? It's what do you call it?
An outdoor version of an escape room that's a little bit like a treasure hunt.
We do gorge walk, kayaking, paddleboarding.
That takes you across basically the entire of the Brecon Beacons.
Axe throwing, archery and air rifles.
Finding clues.
Of course, abseiling, climbing.
Solving puzzles to find the next clues.
Intense.
Wands, shields, weird magnetised maps.
Both physically and mentally demanding.
Giant chests full of padlocks.
Well, a normal activity holiday is just boring now, really.
See, storyline doesn't work on a normal schedule. It unfolds more like a book. Something like this. Day starts with a suitcase. That suitcase contains a load of objects. Some of them are red herrings, others are clues. They might use those today or on other days. Today, the first things they're going to need are a diary and a map. Hidden within the diary is a 6-figure grid reference which they can use with the map. When they've figured that out, that's when they'll ask us to drive the bus. The bus is under the team's direction, which means though their destination is 5 minutes away, we'll probably take 10 wrong turnings, have an argument with some sheep and have to turn back because someone forgot their lunch. Eventually they'll guide us across the wilds of the beacons to our first destination, an isolated 280-acre lake nestled in the middle of a forest. When they get to the lake, they'll be greeted by a cage with 5 coloured locks, a load of chained up mountain bikes, a tall tube with a load of holes in it, and a bucket. Then we wait. After a bit of squabbling, grumping, and incredible patience on our part, they will figure out to use the lake waters to fill the tube, plug in the holes with their hands, which will enable them to reach a key, which will unlock the bikes, and a map. They grab those bikes and off they go, following the map on a muddy 5-mile off-road mountain adventure around the lake. Uphill, downhill, through forests and rivers, in search of 5 keys to fit those 5 locks. When they get back, they'll be able to use the keys to unlock the cage. That releases the beast, a 12-man giant paddleboard which they will attempt to paddle out to the centre of the lake. Harder than it looks and almost impossible to stay dry, they'll have to work like Viking warriors to retrieve the flag before the sun sets. Attached to the flag is a memory stick, a message in a video they must return home to watch. The activities aren't really the point of what we do with storyline. The point is what the kids are going through to be able to do those activities. And the lessons that we're looking at is not, how to figure out how to get a key out of a tube. It's that, to get that key out of that tube, you need to work with the other people in your team. You need to speak up and communicate your idea, or, be quiet and let someone else speak. It's all those things of social interaction, of self-motivation to get up, to do these things, to push yourself past where it is, to push yourself, slightly into that panic zone in order to achieve exactly what it is you want to achieve. And that's what we're trying to teach, is the ability to do that, how to do that safely, where to do it, and how to do it with other people, and to trust other people to look after you in that way of being. So when a young person teaches themselves a thing or has figured out a thing for themselves, that's something that stays forever in their memory. And I'm especially passionate about letting young people figure things out for themselves. They're not going to be having anyone waking them up. They're not going to be having anyone telling them to go to sleep. They're not going to being told what to do or where to go or how to figure out these puzzles. They're actually going to have to do it by themselves if they want to do it. And we've programmed in enough time for them to go through the arguing and go through the process of figuring these things out. But it's only when they figure it out for themselves that those lessons are going to be remembered. So every evening what we do is we have a session in the hostel. Now that session in the hostel is a reflection session based around a form of artwork.
We try and reflect on all of the values that the young people might have been thinking about in the day, things that they might be learning to do new, or things they might want to do or aspire to be like in the future. And we make really cool artwork, so the young people get a bit of time to relax and do something completely different, and you know, let their bodies recuperate as well. They do some really strenuous physical activities during the day, so it's nice to have just a complete contrast of that in the evenings. People to obviously, in their teams, think about these values and characteristics that they would like to, maybe they already have it and that's what they want to bring to this week, or maybe they really don't have it and that's something that they would like to practice this week, and that's something that they would like to do differently. Maybe it's getting rid of a bad behaviour that they feel is damaging their own lives. And so we encourage them to think about all these characteristics and attributes and values that they want to bring to the team, and the way that they would like their team to behave this week. It's a really important way that we can really tell them that this week is completely different for them. We don't know them, and we don't come with any judgments of them, and they can be a brand new person this week if they want to. And do that on purpose, instead of just acting kind of unconsciously or out of habit. Then, you know, this session almost like draws a line under that and allows them to be a new person for the week in a much more conscious way. We use sculpting methods to make quite a large scale sculpt that we then pile up on top of each other, which goes out next to the fire. So they make their animal and then they paint it, and then we put all of those animals together, and that will be with us next to the bonfire when we do our final bonfire night, which just serves to remind them like of all the ways they've grown in the week. Oh, I forgot about Pirate Gold. Yeah, so this is a really great aspect of the week. So the Pirate Gold can be earned by the young people through any number of things during the week. If they do chores that are above and beyond what we would normally expect of the young people, then the cook can choose to give them a bit of extra Pirate Gold. If they are supportive of one of their friends or teachers in a way that really is above and beyond what we'd expect, again, that can be given. Or just the exercises in the evening. If they're making extra effort, if they're achieving more, then again they can earn that. We
mess up, they can buy themselves back into the storyline, or they can buy things to help them out or get us to help them out using the Pirate Gold. So it's sort of a catching mechanism for if they really mess up. The real lesson in the Pirate Gold, I think, is the value of advice. Now, a lot of kids, they have a real sort of push away against ever learning anything. A lot of them believe that they know everything. I did as well as a teenager. But they don't. We know that. And actually, for a lot of these periods, for a lot of these challenges, the young people are going to be desperate for the advice of us as instructors, of teachers with their knowledge, of other things that are going on. And what we're doing is we're putting an actual value on that advice for the young people. So we say that you as teachers, us as staff, we don't give them any help in what they're trying to achieve at all unless they're paying for it. And that's where the Pirate Gold comes in, is teaching that lesson of that actually help and advice has a value, and that they should learn over the period that value thing. Does that make sense?
He's a bit obsessed with games and puzzles, especially how games can be analogous to life and how you can basically learn all your life lessons in games. So the young people really do choose, like positively choose what they're going to do, which makes them really excited about it, because they all want to, even if maybe one of them, like for one of them, kayaking isn't their favourite, they want to get to that clue. So they all pull together to do that particular activity. There's a big difference in having one objective for the entire week as well. I think that means that their interest is just sustained in a way that maybe other weeks don't have.
Obviously, you know, we're asking complicated teenagers to follow a fairy story. So quite a lot of the time, you know, their initial reaction is like, what am I doing here? It takes a couple of days. So, you know, we have a thing of sort of Wednesday is really when we get the kids on board. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, their reaction is still hesitant. They're enjoying a lot of the things they do. They're seeing it as a sort of game. They're seeing what they can get away with. By the Thursday, usually we've got them hooked. We've got them on board. That's when we see like kids staying up into the night to do research, kids starting to get themselves up at 7 in the morning to leave, things that you would never have expected from these kids on Monday. And then Friday is tough. It's really, really tough. And you see kids that would have given up 1,000 times over on a Monday, Tuesday of a week, struggling through and pushing each other and pushing their teachers who are struggling as well.
We try and push people like maybe a lot harder than some places. The support we give means that everyone can go right to the edge of their comfort zone and try and learn like completely new things, try and open up parts of themselves that they never thought existed. It's probably the first time that they've done anything like that before, and is also just completely surrounded by nature. Big difference in having one objective for the entire week as well. I think that means that their interest is just sustained in a way that maybe other weeks don't have. Probably the sense of achievement, actually, because they're all trying to achieve this aim at the end of the week. When they do it, it's just, they seemed euphoric to me, absolutely euphoric. And I don't think they'll ever forget that moment where they found the chest in the lake.
Well, you just gave me the gold.